I stood at the altar, dressed in gold and dread. My hands trembled beneath layers of lace and tradition. Outside, music played, joyful to the ears of strangers, but to me, it was the rhythm of betrayal. I wasn't marrying for love. I was marrying for a reason they never told me until it was too late. His name was A.O. Tall, quiet, and unreadable. The kind of man who never looked you in the eye long enough to reveal his truth. Everyone said he was a good man. Everyone except me. Because I knew what they didn't. I had loved someone else. 2 weeks before the wedding, I was still sneaking out to see Tiga, my best friend, my first kiss, the boy with dirt-stained jeans and poetry in his voice. We had plans. Dreams. But dreams don't survive secrets. One evening, my father called me into his study. His tone was low, serious. Sit. He slid a brown envelope across the table. Read it. Inside were photos, grainy shots of Tiga and I. In the market. Holding hands. Kissing behind the church. And one more, Tiga, standing outside a black SUV. Talking to a man I didn't recognize. Who is that? I asked. My father looked me dead in the eyes. That man works for Chief Adebayo. Your Tiga was planning to sell something to him. My blood ran cold. What? The land deed. The one your grandfather left. The one that belongs to this family. I froze. That deed was sacred. Worth millions. Hidden. He stole it? My father nodded. He was using you to find it. We intercepted him just in time. And just like that, my love story died. I agreed to the wedding that night. Not because I stopped loving Tiga, but because I couldn't face the shame of what I had almost cost my family. But Ao wasn't just a stranger. He was part of the plan. Days after our wedding, I discovered a locked drawer in Ao's study. I didn't mean to pry, but something felt off. He had never touched me. Barely spoke. Always gone. Then one day, he left his key behind. Inside the drawer were documents. Surveillance reports. Pictures of Tiga. My father. Me. He had been watching us long before the proposal. I confronted him that night. You were spying on me. He didn't deny it. Just sat down, eyes heavy with something deeper than guilt. Yes, he said. Because your family hired me to. What? I'm not who you think I am. I'm not just your husband. I'm the reason Tiga didn't ruin your life. I stopped him. But the only way to keep your family's name clean was to marry you. Tears burned my eyes. So this marriage was a lie? He stood, walked to me, and for the first time since we met, he touched my face. It started that way. But now, I wish it wasn't. Days blurred into weeks, and the silence between Ao and me grew quieter, not heavier. He was gentle, patient, never asking for love, never offering more than I could take. But in his silence, I began to hear things, the way he held his breath when I entered the room, the way his eyes lingered when I wasn't looking. The way he reached out, but never quite touched. One evening, we sat outside in the garden, dusk wrapping around us like a secret. I watched the wind move the leaves, and without looking at him, I whispered, "Why did you agree to this marriage?" He didn't answer. Not then. That night, Ao didn't come home. At first, I thought he had just gone to his usual late meetings. But midnight came and went. His phone rang unanswered. A sick feeling rose in my stomach. Then the call came. He had been attacked. Shot. The words echoed in my head like thunder. I rushed to the hospital, my heart pounding with fear and something I didn't want to name, grief. Not grief for a stranger. Grief for someone I had come to need. When I saw him lying there, pale and unconscious, hooked to machines, something broke inside me. Hours passed. The truth broke me, but it also set something free inside me. I finally saw my past for what it was, a beautiful lie built on hidden betrayals. But now, I was standing in a marriage that had begun as duty and had grown into something neither of us dared to name. Ao came home 2 weeks after the shooting. He walked slower, carried pain in his side, but his eyes still searched for me the same way they always had, quietly, with care. He didn't ask if I had read the file. He didn't ask if I hated him. But I saw the question in his eyes every day. One morning, while he was seated in the living room, I brought him a cup of tea. He looked up in surprise. I sat beside him and reached for his hand. For the first time, I didn't pull away. "I know everything," I said. He looked down. "And I still choose you," I added. That made him freeze. "You don't have to," he said, his voice low. "I want to," I replied. "You protected me when no one else did. You didn't lie to me, you shielded me. And in the silence, in your patience, I found something real." His eyes watered, just slightly. We sat there, not as strangers or a forced couple, but as two souls who had survived betrayal, blood, and silence. Later that week, I visited my uncle in prison. He didn't even try to deny it. "You were always too soft," he told me. "That's why we had to toughen you up." I stood and walked away, letting the past rot where it belonged. When I got home, Ao was in the garden, planting something. "What are you doing?" I asked. "Making a new beginning," he said. "With you." And for the first time, I believed that love didn't need a perfect beginning. Just two willing hearts and truth between them. This wasn't the marriage I dreamed of. But it became the love I never expected. Months passed. Life slowed, softened. The weight of secrets no longer pressed on our shoulders like they used to. Ao healed. My heart did too, but slower, more quietly. One Saturday morning, I found him in the kitchen, apron tied over his white t-shirt, trying to make akara. The kitchen was a mess. Oil splattered, flour everywhere, but he turned and grinned like a boy. Caught stealing candy. "You're terrible at this," I said, laughing. "I know," he replied, holding up a burned piece. "But I figured if I learned to cook one Nigerian breakfast right, I'd win your heart forever." "You already did," I said before I could stop myself. He froze. So did I. That was the first time I'd said it aloud. I walked over, took the spoon from his hand, and kissed his cheek. "This time, I'm choosing us." He looked at me, softly, deeply, and for the first time, no shadows passed between us. Later that evening, we danced in the living room to old highlife music. No audience. No expectations. Just two people who found love in a place neither of us expected, an arranged marriage born from protection, not passion. But passion had grown. And so had trust. "I never thought this would be my life," I whispered. Ao touched my chin gently. "And I never thought I'd fall for the woman I was hired to protect." We kissed, slowly, deeply, not out of obligation, but choice. That night, I lay in his arms and realized something important. They had forced me to marry him. But no one forced me to love him. That was mine. My truth. My forever. A year later, we stood beneath the same tree where we took our wedding photos. This time, there were no forced smiles, no hidden truths. Just us. Ao held my hand like it was a promise. "I never thought this would be home." "You are," I said. "You became it." We had both been changed, not by lies, but by how we faced them. He was once my protector. Now, he was my partner. My friend. My husband. My peace. I had learned that real love doesn't always arrive wrapped in romance. Sometimes, it sneaks in through honesty, through wounds that heal side by side, through loyalty when no one else stays. I wasn't the girl who was forced to marry anymore. I was the woman who chose to love, with eyes wide open. And this time, it was forever.